Hey everybody, David here, and this is another Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition class archetype breakdown. And this particular tutorial that we're going to be looking at today is going to be based on one of the new D&D 5e Sword Coast Adventures Guide archetypes, and this is going to be the Path of the BattleRager for the Barbarian. Now, whenever you choose your core class, you're going to choose one of the core 12 classes in the player's handbook, whether it be Barbarian, Cleric, Fighter, Wizard, Warlock. You'll choose one of those. Now, depending on which class that you choose, there are going to be archetypes, and your archetype builds on top or kind of specializes whatever class that you want to expand on. So, the Path of the BattleRager, that is a Barbarian archetype. So, whenever you choose the Barbarian, you are going to get a ton of core class features from levels 1 to 20. You'll get everything from your rage mechanic, which is your bread and butter, basically. You'll get things like unarmored defense, your ability score improvements, feral instinct, all the way down to level 20, which is the maximum level in D&D 5th edition. You're going to get bonuses to rage, damage bonuses to rage, and you can see that you get a whole mess of stuff for the Barbarian. Now, whenever you hit level 3, and not every class is the same for choosing your archetype. So the Barbarian, you get to choose at level 3. And the Path of the BattleRager is, like I said, part of the new Sword Coast Adventures Guide. And the Path of the BattleRager, they're known as Kuljarg, and basically meaning they're axe idiots, which is in Dwarvish, called axe idiots by the dwarves. And battle ragers are usually often the dwarf followers of the gods of war and take this path. And the Path of the BattleRager, these special types of dwarves, which is another restriction. There's a restriction. You have to be a dwarf to play, this Path of the BattleRager. Well, they specialize in wearing a very spiked, bulky armor, and they throw themselves into combat. They attack with their weapons, and they go into their rages, and they can actually attack with their armor too, which is really cool. It's a sort of like a unique spin on the Barbarian, because normally all of the other the paths that the Barbarians take would rely on their unarmored defense. Well, Path of the BattleRager, you're really not going to take advantage of that, and you're going to wear a more bulkier armor, which therefore is going to let you have attacks with your armor, because there are spikes on your armor. We're going to take a look at this, so which is really cool. Now, also note that here, the Dungeon Master can lift the restriction of just being a dwarf if it'll better suit his or her campaign. So if you're not playing a dwarf, and the Path of the BattleRager archetype for the Barbarian class, kind of really, piques your interest, then talk to your Dungeon Master. Maybe he or she will go ahead and allow you to play that, even though you're not a dwarf. I really don't see I see for lore-wise, but I really don't see a problem letting the other classes play. I really don't see the problem with it. So, as I said, you get all of these huge amounts of skills for the Barbarian. Everything from unarmored bonuses, which you're not going to be using for this BattleRager, from all of the different things. Your berserking, your raging, your rage damage, and as you choose this archetype, you're going to get 4 more different. You would get these whether the Path of the Totem Warrior would not get, and vice versa. They would get things that you would not get. So, whenever you choose BattleRager armor, this is for level 3, and this is where you get the ability to use spiked armor as a weapon. Now, spiked armor is a new armor it's the only new armor that was introduced in the Sword Coast Adventures Guide. And the spiked armor is a rare type of medium armor, and it is made by the dwarves. It consists of a leather coat and leggings covered with spikes that are usually made of metal. Now, the stats for the spiked armor are as follows. The cost is going to be 75 gold pieces, which is pretty pricey for leather armor, but for medium armor. The armor class is going to be a base of 14, plus you get to add a maximum of 2 to your dexterity, because that's, that is a restriction for using a medium armor. Now, you're also going to get disadvantage on all stealth checks, unfortunately, and the weight of this armor is 45 pounds. Now, there are no attack stats or anything on the armor, but take into consideration, this is going to be going with all of the different features for your BattleRager archetype. So once you get, once you choose this BattleRager at level 3, you're going to get the ability to use spiked armor, which there in turn means that you are proficient in medium armor. You're also proficient in light armor, but like I said, this spiked armor is considered medium. So your BattleRager armor, this level 3 archetype feature that you're going to get, while you are wearing your spiked armor and you are raging, so you have to be raging, you can use a bonus action to make one melee attack with your armor, with the spikes on your armor, against a target, as long as that target is within 5 feet of you. So we'll kind of break this down a little bit more. So you have your armor on, all right? There's a target within 5 feet of you. It has to be within 5 feet of you. All right, you have to be raging. So you've just totally lost control of yourself, and now you're raging. Now, you can use a bonus action. Say you've already used your double attacks, okay? Say you're a little bit higher level, you get your attack, and if you're level 5 or higher, you get your extra attack. Now, as a bonus action, now remember, in D&D 5e, you only get one bonus action per turn. So as a bonus action, now you can thrust yourself onto this target and basically get like a third attack, or a second attack if you don't have extra attack with your armor, which is really cool. So you could take that with your bonus action. Now if you hit, the spikes are going to deal 1d4 piercing damage. And the cool thing about this is, seeing that you're going to be proficient, you are proficient technically with your medium armor, so you'll add your proficiency onto your attack, and your spiked armor is going to use your strength modifier for the attack roll and the damage roll. So you'll do a 1d20 plus your proficiency plus your strength to hit with your armor, and then whenever you do damage, it will be 1d4 because of the spikes plus your strength modifier. You do not add in proficiency for damage. So one more little thing here is, additionally, when you use the attack action to grapple a creature, the target takes 3 piercing damage if your grapple check succeeds. Really cool. I like that. So it's sort of like a little bit of free damage. And then once you have a target grappled, then you can move this target around as long as you have a successful strength contest versus the target's strength or dex. And then you do your 3 damage, and you can kind of move them around at half your movement speed. Really cool. So that's your level 3 feature, BattleRager armor. Now, beginning at 6th level, you're going to get Reckless Abandon. And this is when you use Reckless Attack while raging, and when you use that base feature for the Barbarian, you will also gain temporary hit points equal to your Constitution modifier. And if you have, if for some unknown reason that you have a negative modifier for your con, which I don't think you would as a Barbarian, then you'll have at least a minimum of 1 for temporary hit points. Now, your temporary hit points are going to vanish if any of them are left when you rage in. So when you rage, when you use your core feature called Reckless Attack, you'll gain temporary hit points equal to your modifier for Constitution. Really nice little perk there. So then at level 10, you will get BattleRager Charge, and this is where you're going to be able to take the dash action as a bonus action while you're raging. So the key thing here is to take advantage of BattleRager Charge, you have to be raging first and foremost. And then you get to take the dash action, which is double your movement, and barbarians get quite a bit of movement. So if you have a 30 movement for a barbarian, as your bonus action, you take dash, and you move 60 feet. Now, dash is usually, which the good thing about this is, dash is usually a standard action. So the benefit here is BattleRager knocks that from a standard action down to a minor action, or a bonus action in 5th edition. Really nice. Now the last thing that you're going to get as a path of the BattleRager is going to be at level 14, and this is called Spiked Retribution. And this is when a creature is within 5 feet of you, and it hits you with a melee attack, the attacker will take 3 piercing damage if you are raging. Keyword there, if you're raging. If you are not incapacitated, meaning unconscious or paralyzed or anything like that, and are wearing your spiked armor. So some things here, all right? Spiked Retribution, really nice. It's sort of like a thorn spell, because I mean they're attacking, for Christ's sake, they're attacking your spiked armor. So if they hit you, and as long as they're within 5 feet of you, so if they attack you with range, like a range spell or a bow or sling, they're not going to take that 3 piercing damage from Spiked Retribution. They won't. It has to be another target that's in your face, in your grill. They'll take the 3 damage as long as they hit you. You have to be raging. I mean, I don't know of a barbarian that doesn't rage. I mean, just at the start of every fight. I mean, that's just what barbarians do. They just lose control. You cannot be incapacitated. Can't be unconscious, anything like that, and you have to be wearing your spiked armor. So, Spiked Retribution, really cool. Overall, I honestly really like the path of the BattleRager. I like how they, kind of switched focus on taking away from unarmored defense and giving you a benefit of having this spiked armor. And it's not a lot of damage. 3 penetrating, 3 piercing damage isn't a lot, but it does add up. And it does give you the cool bonus action to attack. And once you get some magical spiked armor and whatnot, you could actually do some pretty decent damage with this. So I would definitely like to play a Path of the BattleRager Barbarian, that's for sure. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please feel free to leave a comment down below. I am using the tool Fantasy Grounds. I am using the official Dungeons and Dragons 5e plugins for the Player's Handbook and the Sword Coast Adventures Guide for Fantasy Grounds, and you can check that out at fantasygrounds.com. Thank you guys very much. Please feel to leave a comment, like the video, share it, tweet it out, do whatever you like. So until next time, take it easy, everybody, and good gaming.